I'd like to introduce my distinguished guests and actually family members here at Residence Medical. Our dear friend, Dr. Edwards. Nice to see you, my friend. He is a former program director and designated institution officer at Arnott Health, an affiliate of LECOM, which is the largest DO school. Dr. Edwards is an emergency medicine physician, and he has helped mentor hundreds, if not thousands, of medical students into residency and fellowship. And he's just one of the kindest uh, humans that I've gotten to know through the years. And he extensively helps mentor residence medical students vis-a-vis interview prep, CV, personal statement assistance, and just being there with his positive aura and energy. So I want to formally introduce Dr. Edwards. Nice to see you, sir.
Good to see you too, Michael. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And then also, I would like to introduce on our panel Dr. Kamal. Dr. Kamal is very, very special to us as we helped him achieve his dream residency. And he is part of our admissions team and admissions committee, where he does an initial interview of our students, potential students, and residency candidates, and gives us feedback as to whether we should move forward with him or not. His mentoring capability and his just kind spirit and giving back is palpable, and it's very, very humbling, and all the time that he commits to really helping students and listening to them and giving us an evaluation is amazing. And he's an accomplished physician now for many years, and won all the accolades in the residency program out west, where he got his residency, and we're just proud to have you part of the team to help mentor the next generation of doctors. So welcome, Dr. Kamal.
Dr. Edwards, nice to be here.
Yes, wonderful. And Mr. Abhishek is the head of LogicQuest. LogicQuest is one of the biggest USMLE tutoring agencies in India. They help many students, and we built a partnership with LogicQuest where they do this USMLE tutelage, and we help with their clinical training aspect of helping rotations and referring students to us for preparation and mentorship into medical residency in America. Our collaboration has been very, very strong, and it has been fruitful, not only for us, but more importantly for the students that we were able to help. We currently have many rotation students doing hands-on clinical rotations. So we're about building a CV, building the person, building the character, not just doing a rotation here or a research tenure here, but actually helping the young physician, mentoring him into being an exceptional medical resident, fellow, and doctor serving humanity for the rest of their life, as is their calling. So, welcome.
Thank you so much, sir.
Great. What I would like to do is, if I may, perhaps Dr. Edwards and I can talk a little about the residency application process and the importance of proper U.S. clinical experience. And then we'll have Dr. Kamal chime in on that as to how important that integration and clinical experience is. So the basics of the residency application for IMGs and for LCME DOs is the ERIS application, the Electronic Residency Application Service. So what are some things that you look for, Dr. Edwards, in ERIS application? Now understand, audience, that we have Dr. Edwards that will tell you that there are thousands and thousands upon applicants, and he's a practicing doctor. His team are practicing physicians and residents and chief residents. They don't have time to go through everyone. There's now electronic filtration process, but those handful of ERIS applications that are chosen, why are they chosen, Dr. Edwards, in a large spectrum, and what distinguishes a good application versus sorry, next time type of issue?
No, those are good questions, Michael, and it varies by institution. There are some programs and some institutions that rely heavily on board scores to screen out applications to decide which ones to to review more carefully and who to invite for interviews. So board scores do play a role. Personal statements are important as well too. Um, a clear definition of an individual's on the application, their journey through their educational experiences. Um, and I have found personally that the board scores they help you to a certain extent in screening applications, but I was big when I was an emergency medicine program director. And by the way, there are lots of openings now in emergency medicine beginning this year, which is interesting. But the quality of the personal statement meant a lot to me as well too, um, and the presence of additional clinical experience, externships, research activities, and so forth are important. It's a it's a global kind of screening process. There's the hard details of the scores. There's the individual's experience, and then there's the personal statement that um, I could go on, Michael, but
And that's really good insight. And you really tap on something very important. That's where you've been so very helpful in really mentoring students. Yes, board scores matter, but personality matters, disposition matters, and the overall holistic uh, person matters. I know that we've had, especially in the COVID era, we've had many instances where people with high board scores don't cut the mustard when it comes to these really unique situations. So that's why I think integration is very important. US clinical experience, where you experience this applicant on a daily basis, so they're not just a number and a bunch of words on paper. And that's where you've been very um, forward thinking, Dr. Edwards, is getting these folks to come and prove themselves, whether it's through US clinical experience, through research experience. And I find that very important because when you're with somebody day in, day out on their good days or bad days, you see what time they show up, what time they leave, how they carry themselves. Because ultimately, a program director in the back of their mind, if not in the front of their mind and their team, is like, for emergency medicine, for example, can I work with this person for 4 years? Can I deal with them on a daily basis? Because you're spending most of your life with your team in the hospital, especially in intense fields like emergency medicine or any primary care field. And so, yeah, segueing into the significance of rotations. And since we have LogicQuest in India, I'll specify this to IMGs as our US medical school students have rotations through their medical schools. But there's a lot of static on what rotations really help you at the end of the day. If you're international medical graduate or a non-US IMG, meaning coming from another country, or a US IMG that goes to the Caribbean and such. And that's why schools such as St. George's and Ross have really taken the extra, and they charge just as much as US medical schools, taken the extra bite out of the apple, if you will, is because they've invested a lot of time, effort, and money into rotations. So, Mr. Abhishek, if you can explain a little about the difference in rotations, what rotations are the most difficult but the most important to distinguish an application, and how LogicQuest helps in effectuating this and distinguishing itself in the marketplace of India, where there's a lot of confusion.
Well, that's a very great question, Dr. Everest. So most of my students would agree with me at this point in time, and so would the honored panelist on this particular call as well. That when students would want to obtain the rotations, most of the times they are confused between what type of rotations, and there are certain jargons which students get confused with. Now, if I have to talk about the types of rotations, like you would have an elective program, you would have clerkship, you would have observership, internship, externship. So, and I don't know how many more Titanic ships that these students would get confused with. But by and large, I would definitely say observership merely gives an opportunity to the student to travel all the way to the US and get absorbed in one of the hospitals. And while they're doing their rotations there, an observership program just allows them to stand at a 2 feet or a 5 feet distance and observe what the physician is doing, make their own notes, and at the end of the day discuss those cases with the attending physicians if they get an opportunity. But they are not allowed to touch the patient or even interact with the patient. So I personally feel that is a limitation to a student or their profile, vis-a-vis if we have a hands-on. So my advice is any student who's looking forward for rotations, they should primarily aim only for the hands-on. So instead of looking out for inpatient, outpatient, hands-on, non-hands-on observership, they should just merely divide that into two. One is the hands-on, other is the non-hands-on, and of course hands-on would definitely have a higher weightage in comparison with the non-hands-on. Otherwise, elective program or rotations are the ones which normally a medical student would aim for, or they are eligible for. But once they graduate, they are certainly eligible for externships, or what we call it as clerkships as well. And those are the areas of opportunities that the student should be capitalizing on. Now, in turn, when we're talking about these hands-on rotations, what do they usually gain out of it? For the first thing and first, a student would certainly aim and opt for the letters of recommendation, because that's the primary interest of any student that he would be interested in. Now, these students, first of all, they need to know and understand that while they are doing their rotations in the US, which is definitely hands on, what do they get? Now, during these clinical rotations, medical students, residents, as well as the graduates, they work directly with the patients who are participating in the assessment, diagnosis, treatment, and management of a wide range of different clinical departments or specialties such as medicine, pediatrics, psychiatry, OBGYN, surgery, etc., and many more, of course. But during these rotations, each one would work in a particular specialty, right from a few weeks to a few months, depending on how much of time do they have before they could send across their applications. And these rotations are absolutely very crucial. Now, if I have to also highlight certain advantages and limitations, the advantages, of course, as I said, they would get letters of recommendation, number one. Secondly, they would improve on the communication skills and the interpersonal skills, which is one of the most essential element during your interviews, that is obviously seen and displayed, because that's what is observed by these program directors. That's what they microscopically look at, is I would say. Networking and connection into a particular specialty. So, for example, if someone has gone to New York and they know that in and around New York, while I'm doing this, in the same hospital that they are doing their rotations, they know which are the doctors, who are the attending physicians, HODs, etc. So that is the opportunity that any student or graduate should be able to capitalize on, so that they interact, they build that rapport to an extent where these program directors kind of know them by their work. And when it's time for them to send across their applications, if they send across their applications, there's a larger chance that these program directors might be able to recollect that this particular doctor or an intern was working with me, and I know his or her job, and how they perform during their rotations. That could possibly be a small hint or a striker for them to at least think twice, and get an opportunity or multiply their opportunities of soliciting and interviews, what I would say. Parallelly, it would also interest and commitment to a particular specialty, because what I know of, and correct me, Dr. Edward, if I'm wrong, if a student is he or she is doing their rotations in OB-GYN and end up sending across their applications into internal medicine, possibly that might not be the right taste or choice to that does not kind of prove your commitment to a particular specialty. So if you do your rotations into a specialty and you end up applying into the same, that is definitely going to prove your commitment towards it, and you show that how badly you need that particular specialty, and how much have you been working on that to ensure that you get a specialty of your choice. At the last, the least that you can expect is you learn about the clinical practice. You learn there more about the electronic records, hospital administration, relevant rules and regulations of that particular state, that particular city, that particular hospital. You also end up learning more about the life cycle of a patient, life cycle of a hospital, and that is what really, that is a value add during those days or weeks or months while you are rotating in that particular hospital. Now, when it comes to rotations and observerships, we at Logic West, in association with Residence Medical, we work closely with the student, try to profile the student, understand their strengths and their weaknesses, and we also suggest them which are the best opportunities that they have, where they can get through, what are the chances, what he or she needs to do. We also evaluate the CV and give them a feedback as to what are the missing components, how they can work on it, what needs to be done more, so as to ensure that they have a perfect package, which is more presentable in a manner which the program directors should be pleased after looking at it. Last few tips I would say, whenever a student would want to apply for a rotation, irrespective of the status that you hold, whether you're a medical student or a graduate by now, please ensure that you have taken your USMLE tests. If you've taken step 1 and step 2 CK both, that's great. But if not, the least that the hospitals would expect is at least having a step 1 on your CV. So that shows the commitment. That also shows that yes, you are on the track, and this being one of the components, it is certainly going to be one of the components of your CV. That is what you're trying to prove it to them. And having a knowledge of step 1 is definitely going to help you correlate your daily cases with the theoretics that you have studied during your step 1 or your step 2 CK days. Now, in my experience, I would strongly recommend that completing your rotations during your internship has always proven to be the best time, because by then you are a student, you have a lot of opportunities over there in the US, and you can certainly get to know which are the opportunities, and definitely try to solicit them. Most of the times, again, as I said, students try to jump into the rotations before even they have taken the step 1 or step 2. And when they've been asked questions as to why do you want to do that first, why wouldn't you want to focus on your USMLE steps, the common answer that we end up getting is, I've heard from my seniors that if I do my rotations as a student, I get hands on. Otherwise, as graduates, I will just end up getting observerships, which to a larger extent we would want to disagree with, all due respect. Because if you do not know, there are almost about 7 to 8 states which would still give you hands on experience even as a graduate, which are namely Georgia, Maryland, Florida, Missouri, Michigan, Illinois, Maine, and Ohio as well. So these states welcome the graduates for hands-on clinical rotations. So to sum it all, I would say, if at all you're looking forward for clinical rotations, try to be an intern. Even if you're a graduate, that's fine, but first take the USMLE steps, followed by getting into rotations. Last few tips: you will also end up getting more your skill development. You get exposure to different specialties, as I mentioned earlier, and you also build a well-rounded medical education system, and that is what pleases your program directors. So if that answers your question, Dr. Everest, maybe we proceed to the next question, please.
And to really succinctly put it, as Mr. Abhishek said, there's a few types of rotations. Back in the days of Dr. Edwards and I, we used to call them green book rotations, where you go into a teaching hospital and you actually get a ACGME accredited hospital. You get a clerkship certificate similar to a U.S. medical student. Those are hands-on, inpatient teaching hospital rotations. Those are very difficult to get because now what's happened is a bunch of DO schools have came online, Caribbean schools have inundated it, and then there's the externship after you've graduated. Now those rotations, a lot of people go into doctors' offices off-site. The most sought after rotation in that is an inpatient, hands on teaching hospital externship. And as Mr. Abhishek said, those are in a few states. and those slots are pretty much filled up through different organizations and through the medical school themselves. So you need an advocate on your side, and I encourage you to go online and check. Residence Medical is a leader in that. But the personal knowledge is so important. I remember through the years, Dr. Edwards and his colleagues, I presented him somebody, and on paper they looked good, but once they were there and you got to know their life story and the things they've overcame and their bedside manner and their commitment, it's like, great, you distinguish yourself. So I think getting that one-on-one time is very important. And I'd also like to get moving towards transitioning towards the research experience aspect of it. I'd like to get Dr. Kamal's aspect on this because he came in through a research pathway and the importance of that. And if Dr. Edwards and Dr. Kamal can elaborate on that because I'm passionate about research. I know some programs are more bullish on it than not, but what advantages does a research tenure have in building the community, in showing your skill set, and the advantages it brings to the program? If you would kindly go first, Dr. Kamal, and then Dr. Edwards, if you would elaborate on that, I would be most grateful.
Yeah, sure. So I was lucky enough to get the research fellowship through Residence Medical and the Everest Foundation, and I was placed in a family medicine residency to do my research. That's what I wanted to do. I had done sub-Is in family medicine before, and I had done, all my letters were family medicine, but I just had the hardest time matching for various reasons. And like I said, I was lucky enough to be placed into the fellowship through the program here, and it was immensely helpful for me. It, introduced me to residency. You gain a familiarity with the faculty and the staff. Most of what my obligations were helping the residents complete their PDSA projects, which are research projects that every resident through each year has to do at least one. I also was involved in helping the faculty close their open projects. So that helps you. You're working one-on-one with the residents and the faculty, so you kind of build a bond with them, and you get your interacting with the clinic and the hospital, and not only that, you gain so much exposure to research and just accolades because your name gets, or at least when I was doing it, my name got added to all the projects that I was involved in. So I went from having one kind of research project on my own to more than 20, and that really propelled me to a lot of success in residency. I was one of the only residents in my program to go to multiple national conferences and do oral presentations and workshops. I even had 2 workshops at different national conferences, and that was because of what I built, in my research fellowship and what I was able to kind of carry through into residency. And it was immensely helpful, just preparing me for residency because I got more familiar with the hospital and just the way that residency works in general. So by the time that I actually started my program at the same program that I did the research at, I had an amazing relationship with the program director and the APD, the assistant program director, and all the faculty. And I knew the hospital intimately, and I was just very familiar. And so it was easy for me to be successful there. I ended up becoming chief resident there, and I was resident of the year for the entire state. And I attribute it to having such a strong start through research. And I would, I became so familiar with the program, they let me do, kind of my own private rotations with the program. They let me do a month of inpatient and a month of outpatient to get me prepared because I had been out of, I had been out of school for a couple of years, and they let me get more acquainted with things because I had such a good relationship with the program. So I think it's a great way to get into a program. I think it gets you a head start, and it just makes you way more comfortable with residency.
So proud of you, Dr. Kamal. So proud of you. And Dr. Kamal was on a West Coast program that is, there's not that many international medical graduates there. And that's why the program integration is so important. And when I created this program integration concept, I knew that it would be successful for the right type of residency applicant that went and go and prove themselves. They just needed a little time with the leadership, a little time with the colleagues, and it just works immensely because you get an opportunity, you get to distinguish yourself. Back in the days, Dr. Edwards will remember, it wasn't a committee. It was, PD decides, okay, I'll take you, I won't. Now there's a whole committee involved. So it's not just one person's decision. So at the same time, you have to impress the whole committee. And what better way than integrating with them and showing your worth? So we're just so proud of you, Residence Medical and the Everest Foundation are so proud of you, Dr. Kamal, and what you've accomplished as chief resident and in the whole state getting Resident of the Year. These things come through just hard work, talent, and confidence, and we're glad to be a small part of that here and helping you achieve your destiny as it continues to unfold.
I just want to add that, I applied for that program 3 times on my own and I failed to get in. And, Residence Medical helped me get into the program. And getting rejected by a program, I got rejected because I didn't, I was filtered out based on, scores and years away from medicine. But it doesn't reflect on how you'll be as a resident. Like when I got into residency, I completely took advantage of my opportunity and I killed it. And that was because I also had a great start from you guys. So appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kamal. Kindly, your thoughts, Dr. Edwards, on the integration and research pathway. I know that we've really built something at Arnott Ogden in helping get in through research and prove yourself. So I'd be interested in your wonderful wisdom.
Thank you, Michael. Well, Dr. Kamal's story is such a great one. It's really, really nice to hear, and I can relate to that from our own experience at our institution. This was a number of years ago when we were a brand new GME institution, and it was Everest and Residence Medical that introduced us to the idea of bringing on research coordinators, and it was, instantly obvious that this was a win-win. It was good for us because it gave us more manpower to accomplish scholarly activity, and a number of projects got started because of having research coordinators, most of whom came through Residence Medical. But win-win, it's also a great thing for these residents, for the IMGs. They're basically what we would do is embed the research coordinators in the program that they were interested in. So they had daily contact with the residents, the faculty, the program leadership, and their presence stimulated research activity. They helped literature searches, writing draft proposals, grants, and it was terrific. And inevitably, what happens is that the faculty and the program leaderships becomes invested in the success of the research coordinator. And there really is no better way, in my opinion, to make it more likely that one will get into the program of one's choice by that kind of an experience. It really was a win-win.
Thank you for having that forward thinking, Dr. Edwards, under your leadership, because I know that we got to do a lot of important publications.
Indeed.
Um, and it's just, that's what really, I can't emphasize that more. The concept I created in Residence Medical and through the Everest Foundation is the integration pathway, not here's your rotation, goodbye, or here's this, of really getting to know the person. We're going through that dating period, if you will, right? Do I like you? Do I not? And if there's a chemistry, if there's a connection where, yes, this person will help my program, then you are now being judged, if you will, on your current merits, not something that happened X amount of years ago. And Dr. Kamal is a perfect example of that. So the integration pathway is an exclusive pathway of ours, but it's a pathway that works because it lets the applicant prove themselves. And that's what it's about ultimately. is opening the door to let the applicant prove themselves, and it takes time for that. It takes more than 30 days, 60 days. If you're with, I mean, our students sometimes are with you for a year, and that year, that 6 months makes the biggest difference in the world in really showing the character of a person, the skill set, the dedication, and you get to build these bonds. I remember Dr. Kamal used to play basketball with the fellow residents, and really get around to building that community, because medicine is a community, residency is a community. Everyone is there. Everyone there is learning. There's a hierarchy. There's many aspects of it. So yeah, rotations. It starts with rotations, USMLEs, integration. I mean, there's a lot of applicants now, and the USMLE scores are even higher than ever. I think the median score last year for a US graduate was 247 on your CK Step 2. So you have to have an edge as an international medical graduate, as a US graduate, in getting integrated into a program and having a mentorship behind you. And that's really important. And yeah, I think now it's getting, we're getting closer to about 45 minutes. I'd like to do a Q&A session. So if we can start getting some questions from the audience, and we'll, answer a couple of questions each with myself and our guests, and then we'll do a conclusion and then move ahead. So let's have some questions. I'll invite Ms. Kiana or Ms. Sheila to read the questions. They're the administrative staff here at Residence Medical, and let's get to it, please. So we have a question. Ms. Kiana, let's do a question from Mr. Salman. Here's Ms. Kiana. A lot of you will be dealing with her directly. She's the person that keeps everything together, our coordinator, amongst many other things. So go ahead, read the questions kindly.
Strategy of 2021 preparing for step one. No use or research. If I clear my steps by 2024, should I apply for 2025 match or wait to improve my CV through research and US clinical experience?
So Dr. Kamal, would you be kind enough to answer that question? Or I'll answer it, I guess. So it will really matter on your scores, Mr. Salman. It will really matter on your attempts. But what you should do between that time of taking your steps, as you're already a graduate, is coming and doing U.S. clinical experience, getting integrated within a program. If you can come to America and integrate into research and move on to doing your steps while you're in the program and showing the program that you can do two things at once, because residency, you're doing a lot of things, then I think that it would make a really big difference in you being able to achieve residency. But it will matter on your score, and then either you strengthen your application or remediate your application. So USMLEs are first, but while you're doing that, if you can integrate in a program and do research and take your steps and show the program that you can do these things, it will really distinguish you. So let's move to, let's go to Dr. Ajay Umar Ali from Nigeria. Why do you make it hard to get medical residency in America? I don't really know how to answer that. We don't make it hard. We just try to make it easier by giving you a penetration into the system. Everything worthwhile is hard in life, and medical residency to be a doctor in America should be hard because it's the best healthcare system in the world, and it should be for the best of the best. So that's my thoughts on that. But I'd like my guests to answer some questions. So are they on, or how do we? I sorry. So here's a question here. Oh, what? Let's go to Dr. Abdel Ramid. Graduated 2022, ICU resident, home country, 1 year, no USCE, no research, step one pass, step two 250. Can I apply this year? What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Kamal?
So, I mean, you can certainly apply if you're, ECFMG certified, but one of the things that I've noticed recently is kind of what you alluded to before, is that you're seeing people that have higher and higher scores go through the match without any interviews, and the residency is, kind of one of the questions before was talking about why is it so hard. Well, the process is a complicated process, and it needs to be understood well before you kind of undertake it. If you haven't been through a match, it's very difficult to explain what it's like to go through the match, because there's so many different intricacies. And now it's not about just having the scores. Like you said, it needs to be a more holistic application. So you really need to have everything, because like Dr. Leonard talked about earlier, the residency programs look at different things. Not every residency program places the same value on scores or on letters of recommendation or on research. So you really have to have those as high as you can before you kind of apply. And every year that you apply and you don't make it, it makes it harder to do the next year.
So great. I thank you so much. That's right on the money. So I have a question for Dr. Edwards here from Anonymous. Um, why do some programs not accept IMGs and only accept U.S. medical graduates? So perhaps you can answer that in an abstract way, because you are friendly to IMGs. So, Dr., what are your thoughts on that, of limiting a program to U.S. graduates only?
Yeah, I think that's an unfortunate reality. Although thankfully there are not all that many institutions that exclude IMGs. I think a holdover over perhaps of some prejudices, but in the context of a very competitive system in general, there are, as you know, more applicants, more candidates for residency positions than there are positions out there. So you've got U.S. citizens graduating from U.S. medical schools, prestigious medical schools, that are all fighting for those limited number of positions. And but it's unfortunate there are a few institutions that still screen out IMGs. I think it's to their loss.
Thank you for that, sir. This is for you, Mr. Abhishek, and then we'll do one more question, and then everyone, if they can give 30-second comments, and then sign off. What is the difference between rotations and externship, Mr. Abhishek?
Well, again, as mentioned in the beginning of the session, rotations, externships, these are all jargons. Rotations mainly, if at all, and I have to just go by the definition or what students really believe in. Rotations mainly are done by the medical students who have not graduated yet from the med schools, whereas externships or clerkships are the ones where they've already graduated and they're looking forward for hands-on. So that's the basic difference. And again, observership, irrespective if you're a student or a graduate, observership is pure observership, where you observe and you're not allowed to touch the patient.
And externships is postgraduate. Yes, thank
Yes.
you, sir. One last question. I think that we should, if you can scroll down, let me get something interesting for, let's have Dr. Edwards or Dr. Kamal answer this one. Um, us- what are the factors of an older graduate, 5 years out of medical school? What do they need to add to their CV to increase the chances of matching? Would you answer that, Dr. Kamal?
So I think you definitely need to take step three. I think that helps. It's not a guarantee that you'll match, but it makes the programs more comfortable that you'll integrate well. And I think the research pathway is, even if you were less than 5 years out of graduation, I think it's a great pathway. But for sure, if you're more than 5 years, it kind of gives you like I said before, an increased familiarity with the program. It lets the program get to know you, and you get to know the program. You get to forge the relationships. You get to kind of learn more about the hospital and the clinic, and just kind of makes you better prepared for residency. Because if you've been out of school for a long time, residency can be a smack in the face. It really is, just the demands of residency, and it's really all encompassing. And if you're not ready for it, it can definitely be jarring. And so the things that help you prepare for that are like the U.S. clinical experience and the research, things like that, to make it a smoother transition.
Thank you so much for that, those wise words and advice, Dr. Kamal. So I think that we're going to close out now. What I'd like to do is I'd like to again thank our panel. These are distinguished individuals that have gone through many things in life and given back to the medical community. And now, early in the morning here in America, late at night in India for Mr. Abhishek, they're volunteering this time to give you advice, free advice, to help you really get ahead. ERA season is open in 60, 70 days or something like that. The application process will start. So here we are again. Don't circle the same mountain and expect to get different results. Improve your curriculum vitae, strengthen it, be laser focused. Don't have a shotgun approach. Be laser focused on one specialty because an emergency medicine doctor has dedicated their life to emergency medicine. A peds doctor has dedicated their life to peds. So it's not like I'll apply to this because it's less competitive. In their mind, that's the best specialty. That's what puts food on their table. That's what they do to help lives and save lives and prolong lives. So be laser focused on a specialty earlier on in your career if you can. Hopefully by MS3, MS4, you've already figured out what you want to do, and just go at it and get it. And if you're a foreign medical graduate, or you non-US IMG, as they say, politically correct now, you've got to integrate into the US medical system. You've got to be part of it. This system is based for our US medical students, rightfully so. They pay a lot of money for education. So to be invited and integrate, the beauty of America is we're a melting pot. But to be invited to integrate and to be a doctor in America is a great gift. So go pay your dues and earn it. Just because you got good scores doesn't mean much these days. You got to go and prove yourself because you're competing against a guy that went to LECOM. You're competing against a guy that went to UCLA that has 250s and has an MPH from a U.S. medical school. So take it into perspective. And so any parting words, Dr. Kamal first, then Dr. Edwards, and then we'll end it with Mr. Abhishek.
Well, I think there was a lot of good information given out today, and I wish that there was something like this when I was, when I first was struggling to match. I found out about residence medical, a couple of years after I had some issues, and so I just wish there was something around like that, like this when I was there, because you really need an advocate and a guide to kind of help you through the process, and if you want to maximize your potential to get residency.
Thank you, Dr. Kamal. Dr. Edwards?
Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you all and interacting with our colleagues here. The don't give up your dreams. It is possible to do. I'm also an advocate for the research route. Keep that on the table as a potential option. And good luck. Don't give up the dream.
Thank you, Dr. Edwards. Wonderful, wonderful. Mr. Abhishek?
Yeah, so all I would like to tell my audience is start early. That's the key here. Just finish off with your USMLs as early as you can, because there's a lot of opportunity for your research that needs to be done. You can glorify your CV by having some more publications under your belt, some accolades that you can add on to, and apart from research, then there are so many other opportunities that you can get, because most of the times students or graduates, postgraduates who have done medical school from their respective countries, they need to understand that they have been so exposed to a particular country's healthcare system that all of a sudden when they want to go to the US and try to make their future there, they need to spend some time in the US to get aligned to, and just integrate themselves, unlearn what they've done through their local healthcare system, and try to learn more about the US. So it takes a lot of time, so act fast is what I would say.
Great. Thank you all so much for your valuable time. Residence Medical is here for anybody that wants to strengthen their CV. You can reach out, live chat, or call the offices. But more importantly, we want to give this as a free, informative webinar to really help you achieve your dream. And like Dr. Edwards said, I can't add anything to that or subtract anything from that. Don't give up. If this is your destiny, this is your dream, you will accomplish it. Thank you so much for your time, everybody. And it's a pleasure to give you guys valuable advice. Signing off. Thank you, everybody.